Tech in Asia's own founding superhero, Willis Wee, is going to come up to the stage and interview the founder, chairman, and CEO of VNG, right from Vietnam, Lee Hong Min. So please welcome to the stage Willis Wee and Lee Hong Min, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Willis, a blogger from Tech in Asia. So who are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm Min. I'm from Vietnam, and I'm a gamer. So he's a blogger.
Okay, so I'm a blogger and you're a gamer. So actually, just a quick show of hands, like who knows in this hall, like who know or at least heard about VNG? Raise up your hand. Okay, so you have to explain quite a bit about VNG. But let me ask you first. So yeah, what is VNG?
Okay. So I'm not sure whether we qualify to call ourselves a startup now, because we've been, in the industry for 10 years. So we're celebrating our 10 years this year. So we founded in 2004 as a game publishing company for Vietnam with 5 people. And as all the story goes, the first game that we did, the first product that we did, turned out to be a blockbuster. So the favorite story that I often tell a lot of people is that in a VC presentation that we wrote to get money, we said that in 2 years, a very successful scenario would be to get 200,000 customers or users, and we get that number in first week. So that's quite a big luck that we have. And since then, we've been growing to become the number 1 internet company in Vietnam. So essentially, our business today have 3 parts. So we have gaming, still about including publishing and development. So we are number 1 game publisher in Vietnam, and we also the number 1 game developers in Vietnam. We have what we call the web business that turning to mobile right now, where we run the number 1 portal in Vietnam in offering news, music, also social network. We try to compete with Facebook since 2009, and we kind of accept our fate as the number 2 social network in Vietnam since 2012. So that's a 3-year fight. We are also putting a lot of our resources in mobile. A simple explanation, say right now we are the WhatsApp of Vietnam. So our mobile messaging, Zalo is the number 1 mobile messaging in Vietnam. So that's the 3 part of our business. And from the 5 people, right now we grow to about roughly 2,000 people. So that's why I don't think you can call us a startup company. But we're still private, so we're not a public company yet.
How much money are you making every year?
I would say that's enough to fund 2,000 people. So roughly $100 million last year.
$100 million. So I'm asking this question because I'm interested about numbers. Anyway, later on to that. So something interesting about your background is that you actually built this company, and you're not trained as a developer, right? You're a business student, and then the first game that you brought in was from China. Could you share a little bit more about how you actually eventually end up in China and eventually working with Kingsoft to bring the first game into Vietnam?
Okay, so I think again I come back to my big luck. A lot of startups start out with a very lucky moment, and that means both timing, product. So you'll be in the right time, right place with the right offering in hands. So in the beginning, I introduced myself as a gamer because actually that's who I were and who I am. So I love to play games. Obviously, a lot of people do that right now. But I seriously love to play games. So I went to World Cyber Game, which is sort of like the Olympic of gaming that sadly just got terminated this year. So World Cyber Game in 2001 in Korea in the Vietnamese team. And then afterward, at the time, I'm just graduate from university, and I still, and I work in finance. In 2004, we saw this opportunity as internet picking up in Vietnam, and also we see that, okay, this online gaming phenomenon in China. So we say, like, why don't we do the same thing for Vietnam? And we trying to explore opportunities. And the first thing we did actually is to go to Korea, because Korea at that time, I think still now, is considered the birthplace of online gaming in Asia and in the world. And we, so we went to knock to the door about 5 Korean companies at that time, trying to pitch ourselves, saying, like, we are a company from Vietnam. At that time, we still didn't have any office or anything. We just have, like, 2 or 3 people with a business plan. So could you sell me your game so that I can publish your game in Vietnam? And all the Korean companies sadly turned us down, because actually they're right, because they're focusing more on China as a market opportunity at that time. So we went back home empty-handed, and then I look at China next. And at that time, China as a game developers, was not really strong at that time, because most of the game in China is still Korean. 2004, that's like 100 years in internet and gaming history. But we saw that, like, okay, there's a few companies in China that develop games. So we send email to all of them. One of them replied, and that was Kingsoft, and that's the first game that we bought. So basically, we bought the game because they replied to us. But of course, we look at the game and we say, like, this is very similar to Vietnam culture, and this is something that Vietnamese people are going to like it a lot. So, I still remember we wrote to them the email on the 1st of October, and we signed a deal on the 1st of November, so it's a month. And we only have money for 50% of the deal term. So that's the only thing that I negotiate. Okay, I pay you 50% money first, and the other 50% in 6 months later, so that, that's how we get started.
So what happened? After you licensed the game, you throw it into the Vietnamese market. What happened after that?
Like I said, right, so, basically we have to figure out how to do it, and I think that even in 2004, I think the same thing happened today, but in 2004, to learn how to do a new business that you completely have no idea, so we trying to read a lot about, like, how actually a game publishing business should be set up and should be run. What we did also is we I think that the first major expand that we spent after licensing the game is to fly the whole company, basically 10 people, to China, and spend 1 week learning how to do game publishing, because at that time, basically learning from our partner, and also going around the market and look at how people do things. So I think, just basically experience is it's quite difficult to learn, and you have to do everything to really be able to learn how to do business in the shortest time possible. And at that time, 2004, 2005, in Vietnam, we actually was in a race to really, become one of the first companies to launch games in Vietnam. So, everything was quite a rush. So we learned, that's number one. And obviously, number second is we try to raise money, like all of the startup have to do.
How much did you raise?
I think total we raised about $300,000 plus about $200,000 as our pocket money. So we are, like, basically all the founder put all the money we have in the business. So the total, capital for the business in the first 9 months was $500,000.
Was that the IDG round?
Yes, the 300,000 from IDG.
Okay. So you say that, like, you have games, you have web, and you have mobile, right?
Yes.
So, like, out of this 100 million revenue, so what is the breakdown, between, like, games?
Majority
web?
is gaming.
Okay.
I think to clarify the point, if you look across the Asia, you can generalize Asia, but gaming is a really big industry. And the reason being is basically there's 3 ways to monetize the internet traffic, right? So user pay you, either through gaming or through subscription services or through other, like, premium services. advertising, and e-commerce. So that's essentially three business model for internet companies. And in the West, in the US and Europe, gaming was actually a very established industry, and people behavior, industry value chain are very different. So all the internet company, the most of the revenue stream they make is from advertising. But in Asia, a very particular mix happened. Number one, gaming in Asia is actually very, very new because people don't play console in Asia with the exception of Japan. And people don't pay for games in Asia. That's why the freemium business model was actually invented in Asia, Korea, and China. And also, second thing is internet advertising in China 10 years ago, even still now, you can argue that it's quite small as compared to the whole kind of advertising budget. So gaming is a major monetization point for, I think, a lot of the internet company across the region, either through direct revenues, like the Tencent of the world, or through advertising. So people basically pay money for gamers. So that's why gaming is still a bulk of our business, even though we're trying to build our non-gaming revenue.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just curious, since gaming, especially web gaming, right? I don't think you have really any big success yet on mobile gaming. So since web gaming is taking up such a big chunk of your revenue, how do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years on VNG trying to build sustainable business model? Because I believe a lot of gamers are actually escaping from web and they're playing more games on mobile. So how do you see this space and at the same time VNG future?
Okay, so we look at ourselves in the past 10 years. And we think, we look at gaming and internet business at two separate things. So number one, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a product so that we can really, the buzzword in the industry is we can really become a platform companies. Because if you look at gaming as a standalone business, and as similar to a lot of the other, content-driven business, it's a hit and miss business, basically, right? So basically, you a music publishing company or movie producing company, then you have hit and you have miss. But if you be able, we use analogy of you be able like a cinema theater where you have an infrastructure, you have a place where people come regularly. And then you can, in a year, you can show 20 movies, and it's okay. 5 of them become a hit, and 10 of them is also so, and then 5 of them nobody really want to see. You're still having a good business. So if you look at a lot of the gaming business around, then the one who truly really becomes successful over time is the one we build to build a strong platform-like product to really hold on to the users. So that's what we're trying to do since about a few years after we get into the gaming business. That's why we have the web business and now mobile. So when we look at mobile, obviously, mobile gaming is a big opportunity. But we look at mobile and we say we don't want to rush into mobile game publishing. We want to make sure that we be able to build a platform. So that's why, obviously, messaging is the major platform. And 2 years ago, we invest a lot. I mean, we put all our key developers, we put a lot of our resources into mobile messaging, and we fight with Line, with Kakao, with WeChat. So basically we say Vietnam in particular, in Asia in general, is quite a tough market because all the companies fight a lot. So we spent 1 year fighting with the 3 of the major one, and we luck again. Also, we have a big luck, so we temporarily win the war right now. So we are leading the market in mobile messaging.
Have you heard of this company called Vibo?
Yes. Okay. And then also, I'm sure that a lot of the people in the in the industry also question, right? Because we always talk about registered users and
yeah. So cut to the chase. What is your daily active users? Come on.
Okay. I can say that we have more than, I would say, more than 40% of our total registered users is
What is
our
your
daily.
total registered users?
We announced 10 million 2 months ago.
How about now? Now,
Sorry?
how about now?
I cannot say that because we are not publicly announced it yet, but...
But you're the CEO, you're the founder. It's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, your PR team will be fine. Don't worry. Yeah.
I'm sure,
We,
I'm
we
sure.
wouldn't tell them. We wouldn't tell them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say we are growing more than 1 million users a month right now.
Oh, I see. So that 2 months, 12 million then.
That's your assumption.
Okay.
Okay.
Assumption. Do you agree with my assumption?
I do not disagree.
Okay, means you agree. So Zalo is really interesting. So anyway, I was talking about Viber because back in Tokyo, someone was telling me that Viber is number 1 in Vietnam, and then you were saying that Zalo is number 1 in Vietnam. So who's number 1?
We are, obviously.
Okay. Any Rakuten guys here? Raise up your hand. I don't know one. That's fine. Still, you're safe.
Okay. I think put it, actually the number one thing is for fun, but then I want to share about the thinking behind whatever the number one thing or the register number and so on and so forth, right? Because, for certain, for certain company, I mean, I'm not meaning for a particular, for certain company, you have certain time to really be able to have to claim number one position for different reasons, either fundraising or positioning and so on and so forth, or just ego thing. For us, we don't really need all of that. I mean, we fund all of the development of new products by our internal cash flows. But what we're looking at, the business landscape, the key thing for either business or product is to really understand your position, where you are, where you want to hit to head, right? So it's not about claiming the number one or whatever just for fun, but to really understand where you are.
Okay.
And we're looking at the mobile messaging, and you see today in the world, WhatsApp, we can say WhatsApp is number one, but then also WeChat is number one and Line number one, and so a lot of people can claim number one in different market, different region, different aspect. If you're talking about a poor users, then obviously you can rank different mobile messaging, different market by poor users. And then you can have different metric, right? Either registered users, active daily user, or you can have number of messages and so on and so forth. But we're looking at a mobile messaging and we see a few things. Number one, I think that there'll be a few existing one. So there'll be not a dominant one. Even you look at mobile, PC messaging, you have MSN, you have Yahoo Messenger, you have AOL and so on and so forth, Skype, and a lot of the players. But on mobile, I think that people will use different mobile messaging for different purposes. It's not really a cumbersome if you have 2 or 3 mobile messaging on your phone. But what we want to become is the main one that people use.
Gaming platform?
No. Mobile messaging.
Oh, okay.
We want to become the main one, mean that, okay, you can have 4 different ones on your phone, but which one you use the most often? That's the most important. So what is mean by becoming the main one? Obviously, the number of users is very important, but also to truly understand how the user use your product over time. So the reason why Viber got actually very popular is actually because of their positioning. If you look at Viber positioning, I'm not sure right now, but even in the past year, they only position themselves free call.
Okay.
So as for people with smartphone, especially early smartphone people, the free call seem very good because call is the thing that costs you the most money. So if free, it means that you're going to download and use it. So when we compete with Viber, we don't emphasize on free call. We believe that it's not the right positioning right now. So we emphasize on messaging.
Okay, so end of the day, you're definitely number one.
Yes.
Okay.
So on messaging, we think that we are definitely the main one that user use. So that's to explain a little bit.
Number one in Vietnam, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the plan with Zalo? Do you plan to do stickers? Do you plan to put games? Is that the platform that you're talking about that you're trying to build over the years, like the mobile gaming platform, eventually?
So we actually launching our game platform in Zalo in the next, I would say, 2 months. So you know, a lot of work have been putting into it right now. So definitely we're gonna launching it. But looking further, I think that you know, as many of you have been aware, right? So like Facebook purchasing WhatsApp and a lot of the activities in the mobile messaging. So mobile messaging for us is a rare, very rare opportunity where we're able to capture the next way to build a platform. And communication is really a major platform because everybody need to communicate on a daily basis. So in a sense, the word we use is basically mobile messaging is a portal of the mobile world. So like, you know, in computing, in different computing platforms, you have the basic level, right? So OS, and not a lot of companies in the world can own that platform. But on the next layer, you have a different portal. So in PC, browser is one major portal because that's when you start a lot of your activities. And mobile messaging also one of the major portal because that's when you also do a lot of your activities on a daily basis. So on mobile, there's a few portals like App Store, obviously a major portals, and then mobile messaging also a portal. So that's why we invest a lot to be able to grab that opportunity. And if you have that portal, then you can, you know, and you can over time you can kind of like, you know, build a lot of product or offering a lot of service that makes sense to the people using your product. And obviously you look at what, you know, Line and WeChat and what's, you know, like KakaoTalk have done over the next 2 years. That's a lot of exciting opportunities.
Okay. I got only a few minutes, so I have two questions actually. So the first question, I'm going to cut to the chase, okay? So you're going to cut it short. So a friend's told me that like VNG is, you know, there's this very popular company in Vietnam called Apota.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very, very hot company. Recently got invested by some Japanese VC and everything. So a friend's friend told me that you're trying to buy this company. Is that true?
Okay. I think the key thing when we think about...
yes or no?
Okay, the answer is maybe.
No, yes or no? Yes or no? There's no maybe, yes or no.
Oh, because there's no clear yes and there's no clear no, right? Okay. So I have to choose in between. And the answer is maybe. And maybe meaning that we always look at opportunities and we always constantly evaluating and we constantly say like, what is the best thing to move our business forward?
Have you talked to the founder? Have you offered like term sheet?
No.
No, okay.
Have you talked to the founder? I'm a good friend of the founder.
Okay. Then next question, my last question. Okay. So another, there's like I think local media has been like there are rumors and things like this. So yes. Obviously, I think it's publicly known that VNG is partly owned by Tencent, right?
Tencent is one of our shareholders.
One of the shareholders, okay.
Yes.
Not partly owned, so same thing. Anyway, so is Tencent trying to buy your company?
The answer is clearly no.
Okay. Are you willing to sell?
The answer is no.
Okay. Can I ask one more question? Yeah. So I think this question is really important, something that I really want to ask because I want to learn as well. You're one of like the very, very rare founders that, you know, you build a company with like a small team all the way up to like 1,000 people, right? So could you quickly summarize like from building a small team to a team of 1,000 people, what are the struggles that you have been through and how you actually curb this struggle? Because managing a big team, you know, managing like a team of 10, team of 50, team of 100, team of 1,000 is very different. So how do you manage all this thing over the years? Just a brief one.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of struggles there. I try to think how to make it relevant to a lot of people here because obviously managing 50 people is very different from managing 2,000 people. I think we have basically three major struggles, right? The number one, and you know, is applied to us, is that we're trying to do many different things. And then the danger in doing many different things is you don't really kind of like, you know, have an idea. Like, let's say when we do game publishing, right? And we learned a lot in the beginning. And that really kind of like, you know, give you certain assumptions, certain habits, certain behaviors. And when we're trying to do web business, we need to throw all that assumption and behaviors and habit away. And that's really hard because there's certain thing that, you know, we used to do, or let's say like, okay, we couldn't do this way. So what we're trying to do, and I think that this is a very common advice given by a lot of people, is when you, basically we say when we're trying to build a startup inside a startup, then you face between, you know, to do things the way you believe is right, and to basically giving that startup business or that people or that team a very kind of like free and very kind of like, you know, risk, new way of doing things, and a lot of the time you're very uncomfortable. So to balance all that, to trying to learn a lot of things is a very, very fun but also very difficult journey for us. And actually we failed, you know, basically we you know, again, we're trying to do e-commerce in Vietnam, and I can say that, you know, so far we are not being very successful. We're not being successful. And that's essentially because I think that we will not be able to learn the right way to do things. The second struggle that we have is, and then actually this is applied more to a later stage startup or to a larger companies, is how to evolve our people. You have a lot of people who are with you in the very early days, and then as your business grow, right, and you want them to grow into the role, either management or product or technical. And many people who have been working with you for a long time, and suddenly you realize that, you know, this is not the right people for this position anymore. So it's a struggle because you have to tell them to, or you have to basically make them to move away. So and then you have to get the new people in, and then, you know, emotionally, it's like, especially in Asia, you always have that feeling of like, this is your comrade, this is your brother, and then now you kind of like have to let your brother down. You have to tell them that, hey, you know what, you have to step aside so that a new one gonna come in and do your job, and that's really tough and it's not easy. But then if you're not able to scale your people, either by scaling the individuals or having the right people in the right position, then eventually your business will suffer. So that's the second struggle that we have. The third struggle actually is
We've got to make it quick. They're looking at me.
Okay. The third struggle is to really how to build your experience, and I think this is very applied to this part of the world, because let's say in China or the US, you have a very big market, so a lot of opportunity for people to learn. Here, where is the opportunity for people to learn, right? Either product or marketing or technologies. So we actually have to learn to accept a lot of failures, a lot of like, you know, difficult thing. And then saying that all this thing is tuition fee. All this thing is the thing that we pay so that one day we'll be able to success. So with Zalo, a lot of people don't know that we actually failed 5 different social products before Zalo, including the PC social network that we compete with Facebook. But then we still have to have the trust in the people who are doing it, and the trust in ourselves to say, like, you know, the next time we're going to be successful. So that's essentially the 3 struggles in terms of people that we learned so far in the last 10 years.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.